Hey everybody, so it is finally time for predictions, 2021 Stanley Cup Playoff predictions. I have been saying for a while now that I really have been dreading doing this because, man, I have absolutely no idea how the playoffs are going to go this year. I think this is one of the most wide open postseasons that we have seen in the NHL in a long time. I have no idea how teams are going to look once they get to the Final Four and have to play a team that they haven't played at all this season. I think a lot of the matchups are completely up for grabs. They're very, very tight matchups. There's no real clear-cut favorite to me for the Stanley Cup. I think every single team has something about them that's a question mark or that's an issue heading into this postseason. I think it's going to be really, really fun, but predictions are going to be really, really hard. So please don't get mad at me if I don't pick your team. I can only choose one to win the Stanley Cup. And honestly, this is all just guessing. Nobody truly knows what is going to happen. But it is time to get into our predictions here. First round all the way through to the Stanley Cup Finals. This is my bracket challenge bracket. So if you want to join the channel Bracket Challenge League and have not yet, I will put the link in the description for you to join and fill out a bracket of your own. It's a lot of fun. We get to see at the end of the playoffs who was the most correct, who's able to get the finals right, all of that. Feel free to join. It's open to the public and everyone is able to. It's a lot of fun. This will be my bracket in the league's bracket challenge. So it's gonna have some implications here. You guys can all laugh at me when I get stuff very, very wrong. But anyway, let's get into it here. My predictions. Interesting interface, by the way, for the NHL's bracket challenge this year. It's never looked like this before. But anyway, let's get into it here. Starting with the North Division, since the bracket starts with the North. And I have to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs over the Montreal Canadiens. This is a huge postseason for Toronto. This is a team that has had this core together for a number of seasons now and still has never been able to win a playoff series. They have to this year. They've gotten bigger and tougher. They've gotten better defensively. There are certainly still questions with the Maple Leafs, but this year they have to do something in the playoffs or they're going to be big trouble in Toronto. I'm going to say Leafs in 6. I do think that the Canadiens can make a series of it, but Leafs in 6, they've got to win this one. Edmonton and Winnipeg, the 2-3 matchup. Winnipeg has just been playing really, really lousy here the last few weeks. They have no momentum, heading into the postseason. Edmonton's got McDavid and Draisaitl, and they've played well defensively this year as well. Mike Smith has had a solid year in goal. I've got to go the Oilers in this one, and I'm going to say Edmonton in 5. I think this is one of the shorter series. The Oilers have played the Jets very well all season long. I'm liking Edmonton in 5 there. Over in the East, we have Pittsburgh against the New York Islanders. Now, I hate counting out a Barry Trotz coach team early in the playoffs, and the New York Islanders very well could put up a big-time fight here. However, they've played, much like Winnipeg, very, very poorly over the past few weeks. They don't have a lot of momentum going into the postseason. Pittsburgh has played extremely well the last few weeks. They went 11-3-1 in their final 15 games this season. They won the division. I'm going Penguins here. I do think that the Islanders are good enough to make it a 6-game series, and they'll at least win a couple, but I think the Penguins come out on top. Washington versus Boston. Oh boy. This is a complete toss-up. I think this is a complete 50-50 shot of a playoff series. Either team can take this one. Boston's played very, very well since the trade deadline. Taylor Hall has been absolutely phenomenal in a Bruins uniform. The other additions, Curtis Lazar and Mike Riley, have been very, very good as well. Bruins have looked great post-trade deadline. They've got a lot of momentum going their way. But Washington is a very, very tough team, a very strong team in their own right, and could easily win this series. I think this one goes all the way. I think it's going 7 games, but I like the way that Boston's played lately. I like the second line stepping up the way that it has. I'm going to go Boston in 7 in this one and take the Bruins in a 7th game and have them move on to the second round. Moving on now to the West, we have Colorado against St. Louis. Now, Colorado is a lot of people's picks this year, a lot of people's favorites this year. St. Louis, though, has been playing very, very well the past month or so down the stretch. And they're going to make this a series. This is not going to be a rollover and die St. Louis Blues team. They're capable of beating the Colorado Avalanche, especially if the Avalanche don't bring their A game. However, at the end of the day, I do think that the Avs get it done. They cannot afford a first-round exit with all of these expectations surrounding the team. I'm going to say Colorado in 6 over the Blues. Vegas and Minnesota. Man, this is going to be a hell of a series. Normally, if it was Vegas against almost anyone else, I would be like, okay, Vegas has got this. But Minnesota has given the Golden Knights a lot of trouble this year. A lot of trouble. The Wild have played them very, very well. And while just because they played great in the regular season doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into the playoffs, the fact that Minnesota was as good as they were against the Golden Knights in the regular season makes me think that this is at the very least going to be a very, very long series. And I think Minnesota is going to put up a hell of a fight. The end of the day, though, I just think Vegas gets it done. Vegas's goaltending is phenomenal. They're a great defensive team. That style of play tends to win in the playoffs. I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 over the Minnesota Wild. I think it's going to be a great series, but Vegas is going to come out on top. And finally, moving on to the Central now, we have Carolina against Nashville. Now, Nashville played very, very well at the end of the season to solidify their playoff spot and get into the postseason. But I think at the end of the day, Carolina is just too much. This is a tremendously good Hurricanes team. They've got great youth. They've got a lot of skill. They play lockdown defense. My only real question with them is goaltending. Nedeljkovic being a rookie. Mrazek is very hit or miss. When he's on, he's really on. But when things go bad, they go really bad. Obviously, their goaltending was fine during the regular season. I got Carolina here in 5 games over the Nashville Predators. I think Carolina is a juggernaut of a team this year. And finally, the Florida Panthers against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh boy, what a series this is going to be. This is another one that I really just think is a 50-50 shot. I don't know where to go with this one. I think either team is more than capable of pulling this one out. At the end of the day, I'm going to take the Lightning. I just can't see the defending champs getting out early, first round early in the playoffs. They're also getting Nikita Kucherov back. I'm going to say Lightning in 7 over Florida. I just think that Tampa Bay gets it done, finds a way to win. Kucherov coming back is definitely going to be a boost for them. And I just can't see the Lightning losing first round, even though I can absolutely see the Panthers beating them. And that's such a tough matchup. I'm sticking with it. I'm literally doing this as I go. I'm just sticking with it. I'm not going to second guess it. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to second guess everything if I keep second guessing stuff. So Toronto versus Edmonton, second round. This is going to be a phenomenal series. One that either team is more than capable of winning. However, like I said about Toronto earlier, they have to go deep this year. The pressure is on. They have to go deep. They cannot continue to keep getting knocked out early in the playoffs with this group. So I'm going to say the Leafs win the North and end up going to the Final Four. In the East, Pittsburgh versus Boston. This is oh boy. If there's any team in the East that can beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and has beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins a decent number of times this year, it's the Boston Bruins. They can absolutely put up a fight against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has played so well this year. They've been so much better than I expected. I certainly have questions about the Penguins, and especially their goaltending and defense, but every time I question the Pittsburgh Penguins, they prove me wrong. I'm going to have to take the Pens here. I think it's going to be a long, hard-fought series, but I think Pittsburgh makes the Final Four. Moving on to the West, Vegas and Colorado. Another one. This is so difficult to pick. There's pressure on both teams here. Colorado has lost in the second round each of the past 2 years. There's starting to be a stigma around the Avalanche that they're a great regular season team, but they can't go deep into the playoffs. They would love to break that by making the Final Four this year. However, Vegas has major salary cap problems. This could be the last year that this core group of the Golden Knights is together and that they're able to make a deep run. So Vegas has a lot of pressure on it as well because the salary cap is closing down on that lineup. Oh my God, I want to coin flip this one almost. But you know what? I think the goaltending is going to be the difference. And Grubauer, while he's had a great regular season, has never been able to carry a team deep into the playoffs. Vegas has the goaltending edge. They have the best goaltending duo in the NHL. I'm taking the Golden Knights. I can't believe I just did that. Colorado is my preseason cup pick, but I'm taking the Golden Knights. And finally, Carolina versus Tampa Bay. This is where I think the things end for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Carolina. I'm going with the Carolina Hurricanes. Taking them over Tampa Bay. Now I have to try and figure out the seeding here. So let's see. Vegas would be 1. Carolina would be 2. Number 4 would come down to a tiebreaker between Pittsburgh and Toronto. Vegas against Toronto. This would be the Vegas Golden Knights in my opinion. I think that Vegas has a good enough offense to score on the Maple Leafs, and I think Vegas has a good enough defense to kind of not completely shut down Toronto's offense, but limit Toronto's offense enough for Vegas to win that series. We saw Columbus do it in the play-in round last year, where they really did a good job of limiting Toronto's offense and winning that series. I think Vegas is capable of doing that. So I have Vegas in the Stanley Cup final. Now, Carolina and Pittsburgh. Man, this would be a hell of a series. A lot of fun to watch. But I'm going to keep riding with the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, I do have questions about the Hurricanes, but I love the way that this team is built so much. They're young. They're hardworking. They can play any style of hockey that you want, and they are incredibly well coached by Rod Brind'Amour. I'm taking Carolina, and that gives us a Stanley Cup Finals between the Vegas Golden Knights and Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, boy, who do I pick? At the end, I think it's going to come down to goaltending. Goaltending tends to be the game-changing thing in the playoffs, and the Vegas Golden Knights have the best goaltending. Marc-Andre Fleury wins another cup. The Golden Knights finally get it done. After a few years of just coming up a little bit short, they're going to get it done here, and Vegas is going to win the Stanley Cup. I literally had no idea I was picking Vegas until I'm filling this out, but what the heck. I'm not confident in my picks, but I'm going for it. 7-game series. I do think it would go all the way between those two. 5 goals a game. They're kind of lower scoring teams, both of them. So 5 goals a game, 7-game series. That's 35 total goals. Submit my bracket. There we have it. The Vegas Golden Knights I have winning the Stanley Cup. So I had absolutely no idea that I was picking Vegas until I just did. Again, please don't get mad if your team wasn't picked. These playoffs are incredibly hard to predict. They are every single year. I have no idea what's actually going to happen. This is all just for fun. And if you want to make your picks known, join the Bracket Challenge League, which will be linked down in the description of the video, and you can put your bracket up against mine and up against everyone else who's part of the channel community and joins, and see how you do and see who ends up being more right by the end of the postseason. But again, I dread doing predictions because I'm very rarely right about a lot of things. But we'll see how I do over the course of these playoffs. I do think that Vegas is certainly capable of winning the Stanley Cup. I also think there are a lot of other teams who are capable of winning the Stanley Cup as well, including the Carolina Hurricanes, the Colorado Avalanche, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and more. I could go on and on. I think there are a lot of teams that have cup potential this year. That's why I think this is one of the more wide open postseasons that we've seen, where I think especially when you get to even in the first round, anyone can win. But especially once you get to the second round, I think those matchups are going to be complete toss-ups as to who comes out of the division and makes the Final Four. And predicting them correctly is extremely difficult. So those are my predictions as of, well, I just did them. So right now for the 2021 Stanley Cup Playoffs, would love to have you join the Bracket Challenge League. It's a lot of fun, and you can probably beat me with yours and do better than me. But that will be linked in the description, like I said, if you want to join. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.